So you wanted some help with the annuity questions. And what I've done here is I've put the questions that I thought you had in mind, the one with Lucy and the $18,000. If it's not, then hopefully you can apply what I'm going through here to any other annuity question. It talks about her wanting to have $18,000 in her account. That's in the future. And it gives you the amount of time, it gives you the interest rate. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, where does this $18,000 belong? I put a little bit of a timeline here. Each of these little triangles represents amounts that you're putting in every month, every quarter, these are the regular amounts that you're putting in. This box over here represents the amount that you expect to have at the end. So, where does this $18,000 belong? To me, that would sound like the $18,000 over here, right? This is at the end. And then what I'm trying to figure out is, how much do I put into each of these little boxes, little triangles here that gets me to the $18,000 on the end? And that would require, and that's why I put these question signs here, that would require the second formula, because I'm trying to figure out the regular amounts. What are these regular amounts that I'm going to put into each of these triangles to get me to this big box on the end? So I'm going to use this formula here for that question. And I'm going to leave you to finish that up. The next question. This is the question of Sasha's grandmother putting $250 into an account monthly. She's doing this on a regular basis. So ask yourself about that $250. Does that go into these boxes here, which are the boxes where you put the amounts every month or every quarter? Or does it go into the big box on the end? That's really what you have to ask. So I'm thinking, I need to put those $250 into the little triangles. And then what I'm trying to figure out is how much goes into the box on the end. And in that case, I'm going to use this formula here to do that. So I'm going to leave that with you to see if you can figure out what to do with any of the questions that you have. So put the amount of money into either one of these little triangles here, if it's a regular monthly amount or a regular quarterly amount, and then the box on the end represents what you expect to have at the end. And that's different from the one we had before, which is where you had $18,000 in the future, and you want to figure out what goes into each of these little boxes that gets you to that future amount, because she wants to have $18,000 in the future. All right, so I'm going to move on now to the mortgage questions that you had. I know you did this part of the question already, so I'm going to review it very quickly. You wanted to know the down payment, and down payment is just simply taking the 25% of the 680, and that means you have $170,000 down payment. I think you say you got that part already, so we're good there. And then it asks how much he needs for the mortgage. So we're taking away the 170 from the 680. That leaves us with 510. I think you got that part as well. So the mortgage is 510,000. Then it asks for the monthly payment. Now, what you've seen me do here is just take the mortgage summary from the website. I put in the $510,000. I put in the 25-year amortization period, and I also put in the 3-year term. So all of that information is put into the website. Now, what is the question asking me for the monthly payment? Well, I just highlighted that on the screen. It's this amount right here. And I think you're okay with that part as well. How about the end of the 3-year term? So remember, the mortgage is for 25 years, but you're only going to be signing up for a 3-year mortgage with a particular bank. So at the end of the 3 years, what interest will you have paid? Well, focus on the part in the summary that talks about the 3 years. And I've just highlighted that right there. What happens over the 3 years? Well, it tells you how many payments you've made, 36, because that's 3 years monthly, or 3 times 12. And it tells you, it breaks it down here, that you're paid $58,000 in interest. And that's why that represents the answer to this question. As in how much interest he has paid, that's the amount of interest that he has paid. The second one is asking how much is he owing. No, don't look at the part that talks about over the 25-year amortization, because that's for the whole loan. Focus on the 3-year part. At the end of the 3 years, it says you will still have a balance of, and it tells you right there, 471,963.06. That's the answer for part E. Okay. Now, the last part of this, I'm going to kind of leave you to finish up, but let me tell you what's involved. Was the total amount he could save by reducing the amortization from 25 to 20 years. This first mortgage summary that I'm pointing to is the one that we've used all along, right? It's the 25-year amortization. It's the same $510,000, same monthly payment. All the things that we talked about are right here. But I want you to focus on how much interest you're paying for the 25 years. So I'm going to highlight that part. This is 294, 8, 10, 91. You're paying that amount of interest over 25 years. But if I come over to the second summary now, this is over a 20-year amortization, the same 5, 10,000, right? The same interest rate, but now look at what it says. On the 20-year amortization, my interest is now going to be this much. I'm paying more per month in monthly payments. My interest compared to the first time, my interest amount is now a lot less. I'm going to leave you to figure out how you can see how much he saved. He was paying this amount in interest before. He is now paying this amount in interest on a 20-year amortization. The question is asking how much he saved by going from 25 to 20. I'm going to leave it there.